Yeah, I don't know. Today I'm just doing another podcast. It's pretty so yeah, I'm getting this is the first time I'm noticing. I never realized capitalism, right, in its full form offends the right the most. They're the very thing they believe in actually offends them the most. No, seriously, I just did email marketing on Breitbart and I just got removed as spam. I'm not pissed at the other groups. If they ban me, I doubt it. Right. I like one of my Facebook friends. Like Jeremy didn't even call me out. He just deleted the comment. That's fine. That's the right response, right? Just delete it and leave. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Right? The left does this all the time. I just don't know. I don't know how much more I can be embarrassed by the right. Right? You supposedly support capitalism. And then when I just I just reply to their comments individually. Yeah, I posted it on Facebook and Twitter. So I just posted their comments like just spam, right? Most of it was Breitbart. I recall. It's like, why are you banning me for email marketing? I'm not winking at you, by the way. It's just so painful. Right? You should be okay with people private messaging you, right? To buy their stuff, buy their merch. You should, right? Because how else do people make their money? Right? It's a B2B sales. That's probably the most efficient one, right? It's like cold emails, cold rejection. Who cares? No, I seriously wonder. I'm like, I think about that. I'm like, well, the conservatives supposedly support the free market, right? That's the free market, right? Right? He begs. Stefan Molyneux begs, right? I don't really know. Like I said, I'm just looking at this objectively, right? Do not judge me, like as an SJW. Do not judge me for like when I reference certain people, they do good things. Doesn't mean I like them. It just means they do good things. They have good ideas. Right? He's begging at the end of the channel, right? That's a good idea. It got criticized, like, well, that's so shameful. That pisses the customer off. Okay, I get that, but you still need to make cash. What's the point of making videos if you can't get cash, right? I know a good idea when I see one. So I'm obviously going to float it up, right? Because at the end of the day, you can criticize them for what they believe in, but what matters? It's the money. It's the money. I don't understand people sometimes. Yeah, everyone's like telling me, well, see, I look and then I look it back at like the left and right, and I'm like wondering, the best way to get the left to get the right just lose an election, just email market them. Seriously, just do capital. You watch, they'll all get triggered. They don't even like ANCAPs. This is one of those things. Like I had a feeling, but I was kind of hoping it wasn't true. Yes, you go ahead and message them if you have friends, right? If you have friends. I'm a political extremist. Oh, right. I'm not. I have opinions. I'm all for new opinions, right? Right. I am an extremist, but I'm open. This guy bans me for political BS, right? Helmut Hoffman was gonna purchase something before I saw. I like talking about politics. I mean, if you have a different opinion, I like to hear it. I mean, at least you're not banning me. But see, I tried not to comment on you individually. I think you're just making up an excuse. Right? Oh, okay. Like, I literally, I have extremist views, yes. I'm an SJW. Big surprise. Just buy stuff from me. I'm open to changing my mind, right? Right? You can be whatever, right? Once you buy something from me, my mind changes. Yeah. You don't know how life works? That is how life works. This guy named Helmut Hoffman says, was going to buy something for us all the political. Well, that's a good sign, right? At least you're not banning me. See, I'm trying not to piss people off. Other people just, I don't know. Yeah, seriously, I'll be your right-wing fag if you can purchase enough stuff from me. I might as well just be a LARPing SJW at this point, right? Might as well complain about the system because the system did down me. That's true. Damn me, right? Yeah, I seriously want to see someone pull up an email marketing stunt on Breitbart. Just carpet, just digital bomb them to death. Just say, hey, buy my merch, right? It's Jimmy Dore. Hey, it's Tank. Buy my merch. Just try poke them. Just see their reaction, because I swear to God, it's gold. What's that? You're against capitalism? You're conservatives? Trust me, they're not for anything. None of them are for anything. I know they say stuff. That doesn't translate to anything. Conservatives should be the least likely to get offended. If anything, they should bump more friends to poke, right? That's a conservative. I think they're just angry because Donald lost in 2020. Right? I think that's all it is. But I look, if you want to be angry, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I just delete it. You don't have to like put me on the ban counter, right? Because what if you want me as a client someday? Like this not bode well for your movement. And Breitbart, dude, is a big publication. I find this entertaining. I'm going to see if I get banned. This sounds interesting. I really want to see this. I almost guarantee you they're going to try to... Hey, buy my stuff. Buy my dildo, right? Buy my sex toy. Then you're like, well, it was capitalism. What's wrong, you guys? I've always known how to trigger both. Why? Because I just talk to people. You observe this stuff. Am I doing? No, I need to make ends meet, right? And I also want to put something on my resume showing, hey, look, if I ever go to a different field, hey, look, I know how to do sales. Interpersonal skills, right? Oh, let me know if this sounds great. Look at email marketing is getting attacked everywhere. It's like I'm on Amazon right now. I don't think I can find the... I used to, when I worked for someone, I think Westone, I used to like actually find the email sellers list for these people. I can't find any of it these days. They are getting rid of all stuff. I get it's annoying and stuff, but if you ban that, all people do is just knock on your door and do door-to-door sales. And that's their living. And then, so how does the digital economy run, right? If you can't get rid of it. See, that's the question I want to ask. How does the digital economy function, right? How does Amazon make money? So you saw the debacle where Amazon's processing returns, right? Right? You're not getting any real sales. Those are people purchase and then they change their mind. So you're not really getting any sales for the next couple of years, right? If you ban email marketing, right? Because email marketing at the end of the day is a really complex set of marketing. It's an A/B testing system of different marketing tactics used together. That's what it is, right? It's flashing... it's flashing wholesale, made easy ads, save on business supplies in bulk, right? It's flashing a lot of ads. It's flashing Apple MagSafes, accessories. It's creating like an image carousel, right? That's what you call it. Yeah. If you spam that stuff, that's email marketing. And you combine them like stock up on PPP, try Business Prime, right? Connect your team. I don't actually know if I can see any of this. Let me see if I can find it. It's really hard. I need a side mirror. Okay. So yeah, if you can see this, it's got like an image carousel. I'm sorry, like people need to grow up, okay? You can get triggered and pissed off and talk about following social rules all you want, but what makes the world run is not social rules, it's money. It's just money. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. You feel socially triggered. That's fine. But you know what else triggers me? Starving. Life is not fun. Life is not fun whatsoever. I'm really sorry about that, you guys, okay? You know the best comfort of life is that you go to school, you follow a set amount of procedures, fixed procedures, and you make money. That's the ideal world of life. That's why I'm okay with school. That's why I'm not happy at the school. I didn't get through the school system because now I have to live in the world of the CEO where it's like everything's uncertain. Right? You may get $0 one day. You may get 5,000 the next day. Another day, you might get 100 grand. right? Capitalism does not function like you just earn a fixed income. It doesn't exist. Ask any free marketer. Is that real? Does fixed income actually exist in the real world? Does that even exist in the wild? Right? There's some deer you can't even hunt down, right, guys? Right? There's not always going to be like wild shrews, like wild raccoons you can go hunt down and kill, right? But if you work for a business, you're always guaranteed to get a wild animal you can hunt down because that's what a fixed income salary is. And how is that supported? Is by people who email market it in the beginning. I don't understand people. It's just that I look at them and I think to myself, okay, this is why I don't participate in politics because, and people can say I'm political BS if I want. I roast both sides. Like I said, I don't care. People can criticize me if they want. I'm not going to go comment back, right? Right. I'm open to shutting up if I can get a transparent deal. They get some more money. Well, I want to be specific. I may have to stop promoting my channel or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, you have to. It gets annoying, so people give you stuff to go away, right? Right, they give you a social network or something. That's what happens to most people. So yeah, Amazon doesn't do it anymore. So what ends up happening is you get a lot of fake customers. People just return that shit. So as for how the stock price bumps, they remember I talked about, anyways, I'm going to stop this right here soon. So anyways, I talked to a lot of, so the sales team, so a lot of the companies like Amazon, they get pity money. I talked about this before. Right? Pity money from wealthy billionaires, right? Whose entire job, so right now, I did a post on the book of Job. It doesn't work anymore. So if you look at the parable of Job, I'll summarize this. He's the guy, so if you're rich, your name is Job. That's basically it. People view you as the job as like a rushing fountain of gold. No, seriously, if you get a fixed salary, that is a fountain of gold, right? That's a luxury. That's not real. That has never existed. Getting an income salary is not a real thing, okay, guys? You look at the 1800s, that's not a real thing. None of that is real. As early as the 50s or 40s, that's recent, okay? That's not in the real world. Seriously, go to an e-commerce store. That's the most basic job out there. CEO is what creates the other jobs, right? Ask my dad. Am I making $10? Am I certain I make $10 tomorrow? Right? The employee has always got certainty, right? Supposedly. Right? That's why he gets written up and that's okay, accepts that because he knows he's going to get $50 every day. You can't get that when you run your own business. That's ridiculous. So cringeworthy when I talk about it. It's true though. That's why the rich guy is called Job, right? That's the CEO. He's called Job. He gets wronged, right? Because that's what the people who are hired by him do. If the poor supposedly don't run the business, don't get their money's worth, they do injustice, right? To make sure they get their wealth. I'm really sorry. Why did I want to bring this up? Because we need to talk about this right now. Because we're all under the misconception that we're all entitled to a salary. Yeah, I normally wouldn't have talked about it if I successfully got to the school system and became an actor and left. I would have cared. I would not have cared. I would just lied and just let the system burn down into flames of TARDIS. Because a lot of people deserve it. Yeah, they do. They just all lie to each other. You ever seen have you ever seen let's look at an actuarial science firm. Let's go roast them. Because a lot of the job career fairs, they're so fake these days. I seriously do want to go. I don't have anything against it, right? Milliman. A lot of these people are just full of shit. When they show up, they're not bad companies. Don't get me wrong. Right, Milliman's one of the largest. Like, whenever I see Milliman or any of these people show up at a job career fair, they always present the illusion, hey, look, you're an actuary, you're paid a fixed salary, right? As if that is how the company always functions. Like, they're always going to get customers every single day. That's never reality. Right? If you go to Buck Consultants, Baldwin Partners, Accenture, Perry and Knight, Perry BBI, Actuary, they all present the illusion that there's always going to be work, right? There's always going to be jobs. That's not true. Yeah, none of that is true. And in college, you get this nice illusion, which seems to be fixed, right? That you can. Yes, you can. Oh, you can't. I've always known that. Because it doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter how many tests you pass. Do any of these products that you like, do any of the products you make gonna get sold, gonna get bought off by a customer? Everything's production based, right? Monetary based. It needs to sell units, period. It has to sell units. It must. It needs to sell so other people can get paid. You, as the employee, don't have to worry about that, right? Except for the sales team. But the sales team can always prevent legal loopholes, right? They get charity and stuff. Even then, they just lie about it, right? Now, people pity them. Stockholders, shareholders. Why? Because they see a need for these companies to be kept up. This happened back in the old days, by the way. Some companies will be honest in front of the customers. Hey, we don't get any sales reserves. You know what the customer did? Alrighty then, let's create a bully pulpit rich guy. He gives you money to subsidize your Q1 to Q4 quarterly earnings loss. That's basically what you do. Right? That's basically what it is. And to make and if you ever look at the Book of Job, he's got 7 children and stuff. He gets a harem, I think, to keep his rich greed in check, right? Just to read him. By the way, no one wants polygamous marriages. That's not a real thing, anime guys. That's fake news. Those women are there to spy on you. Monogamous marriages are good because it's less of a dicey liability. Right? Because you have more women, they can tail you, can't they? Yeah, you have to think about this, right? Don't just look at the nice, pretty package, right? You gotta use your big noggin here, right? Because so when it comes to the world of, and I talk this for both male and female, but it's most famous on female because the Bible talks about female virginity a lot, right? Because it's usually the female that do, and the reason why is because the females are the best at stealth. So I'm gonna put a little disclaimer label here. If I'm talking about the females, I'm not attacking you because a lot of people seem to be triggered these days on the internet. I just started podcasting and they're very triggered. I don't know why. I guess they feel good if they're triggered. I honestly think it's a waste of time because the non-triggered people are the one that gets stuff done in the office at the end of the day. You can fire them and let your company collapse if you want. You can be a Karen if you want. Because apparently the conservatives love being Karens. They apparently hate capitalism when it looks inconvenient to them. People did this in the Dust Bowl, by the way. They just poked their nearest neighbor for a job, by the way. I'm going to go do that if things get bad. Right? Because people did that back then. Right? They all do that. And what the sad thing is, actually, I'll say something really sad about the Trump supporters. They're going to all pretend like democracy still exists and go vote for Trump in the polls. They'll pretend like he's still winning, even as he's 10% lagging in the polls, right? They'll literally accept a body double. If anyone's supporting Trump right now, don't worry about this. They seem that delusional. They don't care. They just say it's a rigged election. I don't even know what's going on over there. I'm just sensing their mental state right now. It does not seem sane. I wouldn't be triggered. I would just restructure, do something else. Do email marketing. Help some of these Amazon e-commerce owners actually make money, right? That's Amazon's real problem. I don't think any of these stores are getting any customers. I'm serious. They're getting pity money, don't get me wrong. They did that. Customers used to just give pity money. It's like, well, they had a little charity fund, and they do this for a lot of companies, right? If they see a need, right, the need for the company to exist, that's where the sales, that's where the real money is. It's not about the units sold. It's about, can you make the case that there's a need for your company to exist, right? Amazon has a legitimate need. Seriously, there's more benefits if you can afford a Prime membership, get Business Prime, and sell stuff. There's less, right? It's part of an ecosystem of a global supply chain network, right? It is what it is. And you have to have a legitimate conversation with the customers about that. That's what you should be setting up, not about the units sold, right? The units sold is important. Don't get me wrong. You do need initial sales before you can establish that category of being an essential company to be propped up. Because people aren't going to buy stuff, period. They're not. And it's just, and eBay's the same story. eBay, Craigslist, they're all like that, right? So if you can establish yourself, well, you get your money regardless to make sales. But the thing is, the sales team today won't talk to you about this. They just want to keep their jobs. I'm not going to say anything. It's just what it is. People want to keep their money. They're all afraid of talking to the CEO, right? The CEO is more intimidating of an asshat than he used to, supposedly, right? I'm looking on Glassdoor. I'm looking on the news. Apparently, Elon Musk is terrifying. No one likes talking to Elon Musk one-on-one in the office, right? I know I saw that somewhere on Huffington Post or somewhere. Like, Elon was a terrifying CEO. I was like, well, that's not good. That's a bad thing, because people will hide secrets about how his company actually makes money. Oh, Jeff is Lex Luthor. Well, that's not good. Apparently, corporate posted that first. Apparently, yeah, Jassie's not. I don't know what stories about Jassy are out there. I haven't seen anything quite yet. I'm waiting. It's probably going to take like a year or two. Then it'll come out. It's going to come out and they all get triggered. Yeah, is this political? Maybe. I tie it to politics. You kind of can't stay away from politics. Everything's related to politics. Here's how you get rid of the politics element of anything. Just stop banning stuff, right? So when people say political BS, it doesn't really mean anything. I don't know what that means. I'd stay away from politics, but when I stay away, it means I'm reducing the amount of politics I have in my discussion. I'm going to go add context to what I'm talking about. I don't always say what I mean. Right? I hate political BS. It depends on the circumstances on how bullshit, if it's a bullshit or not bullshit. Like, I understand what people mean. You know what I mean? But there's always a gray. So here's the thing. Amazon processes returns. They go back. That's 0 sales made. Ever seen The Laughing Man on Ghost in the Shell? It's a parody on the fact that the virtual economy means nothing, right? The virtual economy, Ghost in the Shell. So let's see if I can find. So here it is, Laughing Man. Is a mysterious figure in Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Youth and subculture. It all began, anyways, so is widely known. Let's see what we got for this design. He's the ultimate hacker. You know, he hijacks multiple brains. So why is this important? They're just summarizing, in my opinion, what the future of a Fortune 500 company is. It's one guy running an entire business, right? And the joke about this, and please debate me. I tried trying to start a discussion in the mall, and I've had nothing. People just say that's not true. That's not an argument, by the way. A lot of people say that. Right? A lot of people say BS, but that's not a substantial argument. Right? Or hey, like some of my parents, right? They're just like well, just don't do that because I don't like it, right? Or you're getting kicked out of the house. That's not substantial. That just means you have power. So when you say that, you should only say that if you have power, okay? I'm just going to lecture the American public on this. If you say that's not true, if you want that to stick, you need to have actual power over me. That doesn't work. Law of power, right? I think the American public really needs a lecturing on what people so-called call common sense. This is so obvious, dude. Right? And yeah, if you want to say that, yeah, I want to see you carrying a gun. And you legally able to kill me. I don't understand people half the time. I see that and I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know. But if people don't like it, that's fine. But like people, you saw those Christians, they just yell out and they debate in like Edmonds, EDCC. They do that all the time. I'm just like that. I'm making my this is what I do as a hobby. I really don't care. It's who I am. I'm a dynamic individual. So here's the thing. You can't keep track of anything in the digital economy. Same for crypto. So let's say a coin is exchanged, right, between both parties. I've never done crypto before, but theoretically, this is how I understand it. Is there any paper trail? There appears to be a paper trail, right? But can you tell? There's definitely was a physical trail when you could you could print it out, right? That units were exchanged when it first started. But here's what makes crypto not legitimate. You notice there's a couple millionaires or billionaires that made it out big in the beginning. What if they altered the system? How do you know? What if they're lying about how many coins are actually available in stock, right? What if they're bumping it, and what if they're inflating and deflating so they can profit off of it? All right, so here's how I would. So here's how I understand how you can game the crypto system. Let's say you sell crypto cheap before the price bumps up, and you purposely make the price bump up the day after you sell them. That's a short, right? I think that's how you make profit. Or you buy them. Sorry, you buy them all up first before you bump the price up. And then now you're worth a lot. Can't you just do that? I think that's some sort of shorting, some sort of stock mechanism, right? If you're in control of the program algorithm, right? That's kind of what happened in crypto. People just kept playing games with it. The original and they made their fortune, right? What do you think happened to Satoshi, right? He stopped talking, right? Because he made his fortune. There's no conspiracy of the U.S. government destroying crypto. It's just people playing dickfag games. Sorry. I'm trying to... Let me mind my words. Don't ban me, guys. Playing games with people. Yeah, they just play games. And I'm wondering to myself, so let's say... And here's another one. Now let's say that crypto's worth a lot, right? And then you decide to, let's say you deflate, right? Well, that's deflation what I gave you. Now let's do inflation. Let's say you sell those high amount of cryptocurrency, right? And then you inflate on purpose, right? If you're one of the main people who made crypto. Now you don't know who actually made crypto. That's the trick, right? Everyone's making anonymous accounts these days. That's how crypto's not worth anything, because everyone's profiting off of it. They're just like your everyday normal crooked or politician. They're like your everyday normal politician. I don't want to say crooked because people play these games all the time. Politicians are by definition having to be crooked because you got to stab people in the back to get anything done these days. Even the CEO does of any trade guild company. I have to really modulate my words because if I cuss, I think I get banned. Because this type of stuff, while essential, seems to piss off a lot of people. These are good ideas. I'm not saying one side sucks or more. I'm just saying I just know how to trigger a lot of stuff. I'm not really interested in triggering the left. While it is true that as an SJW, I stand alone. They're not pretending to be. They're not entirely pretending to be something they're not, right? They're not holy and pious, right? No, a lot of these people, they say stuff, right? Conservatives virtue signal a lot. They say they're holy and pious, but there's always like a backstory you don't know about. And you don't know what it is until you start talking to them. Marketing is a great example. Dude, seriously, people just post memes all the time. They do this all the time. Like, I remember, I don't like Thomas Stefan a lot, but there was that free will and determinism debate. They just all bickered. Right? It never got resolved. They just all shot each other. Like, people just don't. No one converses. There's always infighting. Just look for infighting, and now you know people don't say what they mean on anything. That's how you critically think about these sides, right? The thing about me is I don't vote because I want to make sure, like, I'm not one of those people, right? I'm not going to hide that I just complain a lot, right? I'm not going to hide whatsoever. Yeah, I'm more happy to be friends with these guys, but that's one of those things I refuse to do. Willing to join the military if they'll accept me, but that's not one of those things I'm willing to do. Waste of time. I'm sure there's better ways to make the politician rich, right? Help me. Right there. It's just what it is. So here's the thing. Here's what I'll cap this off because these are long videos. But it's kind of funny. There is a way to justify the existence of the government in the free market, and if we sort of have a mini trade and barter system, that's how you get the food stamps to have like currency. They become their own currency. No, seriously. You can have a government under a trade and barter free market system. Seriously, for food stamps mainly. Seriously. So why would you do that? That's because, going back to Amazon, you may want a subsidy program for a company that you know should be kept up for national security reasons. That's kind of the sad direction we're heading towards right now. That's what it's always been for all the Fortune 500 companies, right? There's just no sales on a lot of days, right? So the sales team, if they were paid and compensated well, have an honest conversation. I doubt that. Of course, there's no honest conversation anywhere around Capitol Hill. So why is there an honest conversation in Silicon Valley or any of these Fortune 500 companies, right? What private? What transparent conversation? What would that even entail? Anyone going to tell the truth about what getting a unit sold even is? What is a unit? Let's start there. I don't even know what they're talking about when they're talking about when Apple is like bringing their quarterly earnings report. I don't even know what it means when they sell around 112,000 units. What does that mean? Here in the world of corporate lingo. Does that mean they sold iPhones? What does iPhone mean, right? Because there's so much paperwork involved in processing any of these financial reports, right? Maybe they convoluted it at some point. Maybe they mix it in with something else. Maybe instead of iPhone 13 sold, it might have been iPhone 5e or iPhone 1. Maybe they mixed it together, right? You're an accountant, you probably know, right? You're keeping your paperwork tidy. Why are you incentivized to tell the truth? Maybe you feel underpaid. Right, what do I know? I'm just an unqualified guy talking about this. There's just so much mystery surrounding any of this terminology. If you're a CEO, a sane one, you should start asking questions about this, right? Do not go angry with like, I need these units sold. Just say, hey, let's ask some questions. Let me see some paperwork. Let's start with some truthfulness. Let's start with some integrity. Right? Well, let me see some receipts. Right? Whole Foods is more transparent than anything in Amazon online. Because you can see the customers buying stuff in the camera, right? You can see whether people steal shit or not, right? You can see that the item physically leave the floor. If worse comes to worse, you can see receipts being traded. And if people lose shit, it's in the camera. You can't see that on the online, can you? Can you really? You don't know if the customer actually bought anything, because digital stuff can easily be manipulated, right? We see it with the 2020 election supposedly being rigged. I'm not sure if it's true, but the concept of electronic voting manipulation should send shockwaves across basic operations for other companies. I bet you that you can think of ways, the moment I mentioned, I bet you can think of ways people can manipulate a buyer purchasing something, right? Because you're not a CEO, you're not a programmer. What do you know? Programmers might be lying. You don't know. Or the e-commerce sellers might be lying. They might be engaging in third-party deals. You don't know, right? How did they buy? How did they get their stuff purchased? Wouldn't you want to help them more so they can help you later on in life? It's so complex. And they hire supply chain people who don't even care because they claim they're not paid enough, right? And you're CEO, you might as well do it yourself, right? Right? Sure, you might get less sales, but at least you know what the hell's going on. And at least when you get money, at least you know it's yours. I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just reality, right? And the problem with a lot of CEOs is they present these really high expectations that people have to meet. And they're presenting it to people who use Chegg, like they bought test answers. That's just not sustainable, you know what I mean? Right? They're trying to always game the system to get a high-paying job. They don't really care much about the CEO, right, once they get admitted in. That makes sense? College is a way of gaming the system, right? They're trained to be factory workers, right? They're not trained to be thinkers. That's the key word here. So here's why the factory workers are short. Because schools are basically designed to game the system of the CEO. Like getting them paid while not really necessarily guaranteeing the CEO himself actually generates revenue for himself, right? So what's the previous system? The previous system, which is before the Prussian model, is basically built upon the fact that you have to know when to be the thinker and the factory worker at the same time. That's really what it is. And it is a short. So the next system update is like, I'm not even lying about this. I'm not trying to sell you at be all end all. So this is just what happened. They just sell, I'm just a factory worker now and no thinker. They don't teach you how to jump between different hats. Yeah, history likes to lie. And of course, the victors write history, which is the American people. So they're going to lie to you about what version of reality they'll tell you. That is exactly the version of reality they want for you. And that is why people don't want homeschooling anymore, like efficient homeschooling, right? Because the employers can basically pay you nothing for like the first 10 years that they work for you as a serf. That's why homeschooling works in that model, right? So the homeschooling people are talking about right now is like not the model I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that actually might get you pay. Now, it shouldn't be 10 years, it should be 5. Always go to a smaller business, of course. Right? Because you don't want you don't want to work for free for like a super ultra god mode dick fag. No, you don't. Because then how's that fair, right? You just work in retail, you work for free, you are like Microsoft or whoever else it is, right? Or Buffett, right? You work for free, right? You just work for free, and then what? You're gonna get bought off by someone eventually, right? Because you want to make sure they keep making that stuff. What do they burn out? It's like, hey, I can take the risk. Because smaller companies do that. Of course you're going to get competition if you do that. Right? Even in volunteer work, there's market competition. You got to volunteer loyally, though, for a while. Ever wonder why some volunteers get paid in the end? Because they know how to converse with the leaders, right? They learn how to form cults so they can network to get better jobs. Yeah, there actually are safe cults out there. Volunteering is a way of getting currency. There's people that do that, right? They know how to form cults where it's like, hey, look, you help me network, help me form a business, you buy stuff, I help you get a job. It doesn't work start immediately, but you start a bunch of conversations, and it happens eventually, right, with the right family backing. Yeah, you do need the right family to make this work, as in all things in life. Having a stable family unit is probably one of the strongest units of currency out there that no one wants to talk about anymore. Right? That's a conservative ideology, and by the way, the conservatives don't actually practice what they preach.
Right? You can still disagree with a bunch of people. You can still have heated arguments. Don't get me wrong. You just don't have to really. You can still be for a side, but you should recognize there's problems with each side, right? It's like when you're a World of Warcraft fan. Just because you're for like some World of Warcraft champion, does that mean you love him all the time? You all recognize there's times to roast him, right? King's Avatar, Huang Xiaotian wasn't liked too much. Yichio wasn't liked all the time either. Right? They roasted him from time to time. That's how you deal with infighting. It's just like human consciousness. People just do some pretty distasteful shit all the time. Right? So as someone who doesn't subscribe to anything, if you ever follow me, I'm not going to care if people roast me for doing questionable decisions. I really don't care. I could be wrong for all I care. I think I may be the most credible because I just bounce between different sides. I don't really have. I choose not to stay with one side. Now you may say, well, the only side I really believe is whatever monetarily keeps the economy running. And like I said, it's ANCAP for me. Anyways, I'm going to stop this here.